I really need to buy Graham something for Christmas, but I don't know what to get him. I have it! There's got to be something in here, something, anything. He's absolutely gonna love this.
Several days later.
Hey Graham, happy Christmas, buddy.
Happy Christmas, James.
I got you a little something just to show you how much I love you. I hope you like it.
For me? You didn't have to go and do such a thing like that. Thanks, man. I appreciate that greatly. Can't wait to see what's inside. Thanks, James. You really shouldn't have.
I am so glad you like it.
If you're looking for gifts this Christmas, don't be like this guy and follow our guide.
The Nintendo Switch. This was originally released in 2017. Since then it's went on to sell over 114 million units. That's as of September 30th, 2022. And in that time frame there have been 3 variants released. The original, the Lite, and the OLED, each variant in price. The original had detachable Joy-Cons and it can be docked in a TV mode instantly, so you can take your game on the go. The Lite is smaller, it's more portable, and it's a bit sturdier, but this cannot be docked, and the Joy-Cons cannot be detached. The new model, the OLED, is a 7-inch screen compared to the original which had a 6.2-inch screen. This OLED screen gives better colours in handheld mode, but it is the same hardware inside and it does give you the same TV output resolution. Now the main reason why this is on the list is because since its release there have been over 4,000 games released on the console, and there is a massive number of heavy hitters out already.
Snuffy, Al, Leo, Little Mo with the gimpy leg, Cheeks, Bony Bob, Cliff. I could go on forever, baby.
There is an absolute ton of third-party support. So the reason this is on the list is because it's very versatile and this would make a fantastic gift.
So my recommendation for this year would be the Steam Deck handheld gaming computer. That's right, Valve released a little handheld computer which allows you to play all of your Steam games on the go or on the telly. So this little Linux device is basically a portable PC and it allows you to play Steam games on the go. It also has a very cool little setup with the buttons as well. So you have your normal controller buttons and then you have these 2 little squares on the side that are basically your mice. This thing is the perfect little device for any retro gamer, and why am I saying that? Because you can play retro games on this system as well. That may take a little bit of tinkering, although there are retro games as well that you can pick up through the Steam store. For the price of £349, you are not going to go wrong. This device is an absolute powerhouse with a beautiful screen and a really, really comfortable form factor. This device is worth every penny.
Now another excellent idea outside just buying consoles and games are collectibles. Now there are a ton of different types of collectibles you can buy, but today we're going to be checking out these Game & Watch systems. The Game & Watch systems were initially released in 1980 and they featured games like Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong and Zelda. But recently there was 2 special edition releases commemorating the anniversaries of both Mario and Zelda. So the Mario one was released in 2020 and it features the original Super Mario Brothers game, released in 1985, the Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels, released in 1986, which is the true sequel, and a Mario themed version of the Game & Watch game Ball, released in 1980. The Zelda Game & Watch was released in 2021 and this features both the NES games The Legend of Zelda and The Adventures of Link, and it also features Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. There's also a clock, a timer and a few hidden Easter eggs. Now one cool thing about the Game & Watch is this is actually the inspiration to the more recent DS systems, and the now standard D-pad first featured on the Game & Watch game Donkey Kong back in 1982. So the reason these make a great gift is because they're well packed with games and different features and will keep your beloved well entertained for a long time.
So you're still feeling a little bit stuck and you're not quite sure what to get, then Funko Pops might be a good option. Funko are manufacturers that license limited pop culture collectibles, best known for its licensed vinyl figures and bobbleheads. The brilliant thing about this is they literally cater for absolutely anyone and anything. There are tons of licenses out there. And the beauty with this is it isn't just restricted to gaming. You can literally get pretty much anything. There's everything from Star Wars to Ghostbusters to Scooby-Doo to SpongeBob SquarePants, even Nightmare Before Christmas, Marvel, Harry Potter, Dragon Ball Z, you name it, you can pretty much get it. Funkos are definitely something I've invested in the past, and here's a few of mine. Again, the beauty with this as a gift is the fact that you can actually just get whatever your significant other is into.
There's even a great selection of books available. This Ask Iwata is a selection of interviews for the late Satoru Iwata taken from his Iwata Asks series on the Nintendo website. There's also books like the N64 Anthology. This is a complete history and guide to the N64 collection of games and hardware. There's also NES, SNES and Game Boy versions. There's 1001 games to play before you die. It's kind in the title. And there's also my personal favourite, Hyrule Historia. This is just a history of Hyrule basically in the Zelda games. Not only that, there's a ton of novels as well. So there's the Gears of War series, Assassin's Creed series, there's also novelizations of God of War, there's even a graphic novel series telling the stories of the Zelda games. There's also a great series of books for the author Ernest Cline, Armada, Ready Player One and Ready Player Two. 3 of these books are a must read if you're a gamer.
And not only that, it's well worth noting that there are some amazing art books out there for gaming. So one of the ones that I really loved was the Borderlands 3 art book. Now look at this thing, it's just absolutely amazing. I love the art style of that. So if your significant other or a loved one loves video games, it's well worth looking into that. There are also other options as well, like strategy guides or even just books surrounding specific games. I've got this Final Fantasy one that Graham actually got me recently, and I spent hours, even though I can't understand Japanese, just hours and hours just looking through this. I know I am definitely looking out for a few more, so who knows, I might get lucky this Christmas. Another thing you could look again is a subscription to a video game magazine. Depending on their console of choice, there are a ton of options of what books and magazines to subscribe to. So this Christmas you want to be looking for family games? Well, we have you covered. Knowledge is power. Now, this game originally released on the PS4 back in 2017. This is a quiz game where you can play 2 to 6 players, and you use your phone or a tablet via an app called the PlayLink as your game controllers. The aesthetic is really what sets this aside. It's using claymation and it's really colourful. This is such a fun game to play against your family and your friends. You play through what they call a pyramid of knowledge. This game has a great variety of questions as well, so you can start off with the general knowledge and then work your way through to specific questions around certain subjects. It's a great little game and it's well worth playing. One of the really fun aspects to this game as well is the fact that you can actually trip your opponents up. You can do this in lots of little different ways. There's the ability to freeze a player's block, cover it in goo, or just generally have things missing. It's really fun. And because you're using your smartphone, even grandma can join in.
There are also games like Mario Kart and Mario Party. These can really make things interesting. Mario Party is a party game where 4 players take turns going around the board collecting stars and coins. After each round, there's a mini game where you can earn more coins and possibly more stars. Now things can get very competitive in the final rounds when there's only a couple of stars between you and second place, assuming that you're first as. Mario Kart. So the iconic racer features the likes of Bowser, Link, and of course Luigi and Mario. 4 players race against each other and the AI to win first place over a series of courses based on actual in-game locations for Hyrule to Big Blue and F-Zero X. Again, this can get very competitive, so I do advise play at your own risk.
Growing up, no matter what time of your life, you would have watched some kind of game show. Shows like Family Fortunes, Deal or No Deal, Catchphrase, Jeopardy, Price is Right, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and Blankety Blank were all staples of my youth. Did you ever used to sit there and think, I could answer that, I could do those questions, easy, I'd be a millionaire by now? Well, this game you can play at home and experience all the fun of a game show. This game is called Buzz. Buzz was developed by Relentless Software and published by Sony, and the games came out on PS2, PS3 and PSP, and these games are an absolute blast. You play these games with actual buzzers, which if you're playing it on the PS2 gets plugged in by a USB port, and if you're playing it on the PS3 you have little Bluetooth controllers for it. So if you have a PS2 or a PS3 laying around, get out and play this game. It is absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, this game was never released on modern consoles like your PS4 or your PS5, but that's a big shame in my eyes because this series is absolutely fantastic. So just as another idea, if you want a bit of fun with the family, definitely check this game out.
If the person is a bit of a tinkerer, there are a selection of small single board computers that can be picked up. These make great wee projects for building emulation devices. They can also be used to make different race cars and drones and other cool wee household projects. This here is the Game Pi 20 and this is running a Raspberry Pi 02. This is a small form factor that can run anything from Commodore 64 up to Game Boy Advance. This is Future Grim here, so I did try it again and I was able to get some PS1 running fairly smoothly, some N64 still a bit jittery. And yes, it runs Doom. It has a 2.inch IPS display, 320 by 240 pixels, tactile buttons, as well as a rechargeable 14,500 lithium battery. So recently I built a Raspberry Pi 3A Plus board into a SNES cartridge, custom painted it, and threw it into a SNES case, and it looks pretty good. Also attached an independent power button, as well as extended the USB to give access to the board from the cartridge slot. Again, this can run anything up to and including PlayStation 1 and N64 fairly well. There are newer boards out now like the Raspberry Pi 4 and that can run up to Dreamcast fairly well, but again there's nothing really past that just now. While these are very cool wee devices, it can be a pain to get set up sometimes, and recently sourcing these boards has become a wee bit of a nightmare, so you will probably pay a wee bit more if you find one.
So if tinkering isn't quite your thing, let me give you a couple of alternatives. Here we have the Game Station. This was purchased from AliExpress. This is a great little solution if you're just looking for something that comes all packed in. So this little system by here has 400 games built into the actual system. Most of these are 16-bit games such as Super Mario, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Double Dragon and so on. This system is a great value for money sort of product. I will say the emulation on this thing is really good, and you can't really go wrong for under £20, and great little stocking fillers. If you're looking for something that's a bit more plug and play though, this might be the option for you. This is the arcade box. I purchased this off AliExpress for just under £40. This little plug and play emulator has over 33,000 classic games on it. This system is a tiny little box and it comes with 2 controllers which can be charged by USB. This system definitely has a lot more options in terms of retro games that you can play. So you can play everything from the Sega Mega Drive to the Game Boy Color to the SNES all the way up to like PS1 and Dreamcast. It's definitely a value for money and there is definitely a ton of fun to be had with this little system. One of the really cool things about this as well is if you don't see your favourite retro game on there, you can just take out the SD card and put your own ROMs on. It's very easy, very straightforward, so there's no reason not to get this little thing. The last thing to note about this is it actually comes with a really cool little case as well, so you can pack it up and take it anywhere, move it around the house, it doesn't really matter, it'll always be protected. So over the last couple of years, video game vinyls have been a thing. This is something I particularly enjoy, and I would highly recommend someone getting into. There are lots of different companies out there that seem to do video game vinyl these days. Companies such as iam8bit.com, Data Discs, Trago Studios, and you can even get them in places like Zavi and Amazon. There's a lot of variety to choose from when going down the route of picking up a vinyl player and listening to these video game soundtracks on vinyl. One of my personal favourites this year was Livestream by Retro Game Remix. It is an absolutely fantastic album, and it's basically a love letter to Noboru Uematsu, who's the guy who did the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. There are other classics out there as well, like Sonic Mania, Streets of Rage, and many others. So you can pretty much get everything from old school all the way up to modern games. So there's plenty of variety out there depending on what type of video game soundtrack you're looking for.
Those are our top picks for gifts this Christmas.
Is there anything we've missed? Let us know down below.
Please give us a gift and hit that subscribe button.
If you're feeling generous, smash that like button.
Thanks for watching and have a great Christmas.